Algorithms are obviously a big part of all of our lives. They track us, they trace us, and they have the potential to even control us once they have enough data points of our individual awareness to figure out our next move and to predictably figure out for us what we want and what we should be doing to consume more information and awareness that is relevant to our pre-existing field. However, the kind of AI-supported algorithms that run much of our world and digital affairs these days is based on the concept that humans are unchanging and that our subconscious mind is the main predictor of our fate and of our future. The challenge with this is that if we succumb to the algorithmic way of understanding ourselves and decode our subconscious as the cause for all future experience, we won't actually be evolving. We're just going to be looping on our own consciousness-based patterns, drawing the same conclusions that we have already in the past, seeing the same patterns and reliving them, because all we're doing is supporting the algorithm of our own individual subconscious mind that has no other intention other than to loop on itself. Now, algorithms and patterns that we see in external systems and models that reflect human nature are also irrevocably connected to the conscious experience. So we see two different ways of embracing consciousness. This supposedly inorganic approach that is based on machine learning and the design of different programmers that are trying to understand the human condition and better cater to it, and the more organic origin of consciousness, which is coming from our own genetic blueprint, our own field of awareness, and our decisions and beliefs and higher self orientation, which allows us to understand the deeper basis of our condition, not even as physical beings, but as souls currently experiencing the human condition. The difference between the algorithms that are run systematically in order to instate certain practices for our everyday functioning and the algorithms that run within us is that in those external algorithms, choice is not really brought into the picture. Those different algorithms that attempt to accommodate the versions of us that we already were in the past are built on the assumption that the ego drives our human experience, meaning that the ego is a kind of programmed mass of intelligence, which is going to lead to predictable outcomes, and actually that the ego doesn't want to change itself whatsoever. So once an algorithm has a hold on somebody's egoic construct, it's able to understand the psychology of your humanness. It knows what makes you tick. It knows who you are based on your habits, your buying preferences, what you look at, how you respond, even down to the kind of reaction time between when you take in a certain piece of information and how you then go about processing it. Once machine learning captures that who you are is a reflection of the particular habits that you continue to make over a long enough period of time, it's going to attempt to entrap you in that process, feeding you more decisions, purchasing opportunities, ideas, and different rabbit holes that you could peruse even on the web in order to put you in a place of familiar responsivity. Now, the issue with this is that these days a lot of people are exploring their identity through the world all around them, almost experiencing a reality in which they are out of their own body, or they're out of presence with the innate intelligence within them, and they're living vicariously through their devices, through the internet templates, through the interfaces provided through these different machine learning algorithms. So the version of themselves that they think they are is really the version of themselves that the machine has captured. If you're currently experiencing your phone as an extension of you, you're already by nature of that a cyborg. You're experiencing this transhumanist agenda personified because you have established that the device and the machine learning algorithms are an extension of you. And so once that becomes a part of your actual field of consciousness, and you're no longer aware of how it's subtly manipulating with your everyday choices, decisions, habits, and perceptions, you have effectively manipulated yourself into a piece of programmed matter that lives through that machine's intelligence. This is how AI is slowly and systematically taking over our consciousness and hijacking our fields in subtle and not so subtle ways in order to produce from us manipulable people and stewards of change that actually caters to what the algorithms want us to do to fuel the needs of corporations, governments, and other interested parties, so that we own less of our own sovereignty than those systems own of ours. So our attention is one of the main commodities these days. And this is all to say that algorithms play a large role in the way that we associate with our own awareness and state of being. But the most important algorithm in our reality is not the one that lives in our devices and on technology these days, but the one that we actually orchestrate within our own field of intelligence. Because prior to outsourcing your awareness or decision-making to any algorithm, AI tool, or other system that might be creating those decisions for you, you chose to align with the system. You chose to give your attention, your energy, your precious time, and your awareness itself to the devotion to that external tool. And in doing so, you gave up a part of yourself, your identity, the sacred space and presence in your reality, to that part of your life that's now controlling you. The most important algorithm on an everyday basis that we're experiencing is the feedback loop of consciousness. And it's what's laying the circuitry between every thought and every emotion and every impulse to create a certain decision, an actionable form of becoming that embodiment of our energy in physical form. Now, what we're dealing with, if there's any kind of repetitious pattern in our life, is that the feedback loop of our consciousness is showing us what needs to be most focused on. If we are dealing with anything on a similar basis over and over again, that could be meeting the same person in different bodies, dealing with the same mistakes over and over again, having certain disadvantageous things happen to us repeatedly, then clearly we're not learning a certain lesson. And if we aren't, then we haven't sized up the opportunity to experience evolution through that particular lesson that the feedback loop of consciousness is showing us in our everyday lives. And so the most important algorithm of all time that we need to pay close attention to is consciousness itself. Because as much as we are operators of the algorithm happening in our inner realm, consciousness is this mirror that's unfolding new awareness and providing opportunities for awakening, growth, and self-realization through every single thing that culminates in our outer reality. This is also what provides significant importance to not outsourcing our awareness and decision-making to those lesser forms of algorithms, to technology, to the machines, to AI, or to anyone or anything else that might try to steal your awareness and put you in a position of diminished power. Because as soon as you give up your control and awareness to another, you're effectively reducing yourself into a lesser version of yourself and packaging yourself in that ego that external mechanism or party wants you to experience yourself as, so that they have the upper hand over you. This is, in simple terms, the way that these power struggles and systemic injustices play out on the global scale. If you're not seeing yourself as in charge of your consciousness, somebody else has chosen to take charge of it for you. You are responsible for claiming ownership over your thoughts, intentions, energy, motives, decisions, and destiny. And if you're not seeing that you actually are in full ownership of this on the essential level as a soul, then you're going to have your field hijacked. And this is one of the most important lessons for all of us to understand. If you don't currently feel that you're able to adjust yourself into a state of deeper alignment, then you're experiencing a flimsy relationship between your inner self and the external algorithm of consciousness. This means that whenever something happens in your field, you experience it as happening to you. And externally, an event is unfolding that you believe is happening in a detached manner from yourself. Rather than seeing that your consciousness is actually creating all of these opportunities around you to learn who you are, to learn why you're here, and to learn more conscious ways of adapting your energy, your resources, and your awareness to become a more intelligent vehicle of consciousness in reality itself, you might feel defensive or like you need to actually guard yourself from the external simulation because you think that it is happening in a way that is threatening or unfolding certain events that you don't want to be experiencing. If at any time you feel that you need to defend yourself from the algorithm of reality or don't like the things that are happening to you, for example, you may feel combative against the lessons or feel that you need to hide from certain people or opportunities to experience inclusion in the matrix at large, then what you're doing is shielding yourself from integration in the school of life. You're choosing not to see that your participation in this reality experience requires you to fully embody the opportunity to be, which means hiding and choosing to be guarded all the time actually means that you're defending yourself from the learning process. You're choosing not to give yourself the justice you deserve in the form of choosing to assimilate all of the lessons and everything that is happening outside of you as a reflection of your true inner self. If you were to right now come into full alignment with the nature of the game as a reflection of opportunities that are subconsciously unfolding to allow you to learn deeper integration and awareness about yourself and reality simultaneously, then you would no longer feel at odds with anyone or anything unfolding in your life or in the universe at large. You would realize instantaneously that all of these events that are happening, even the seemingly disadvantageous ones, are serving an invaluable purpose. You would feel immense gratitude and feel this significant pressure lifted from your shoulders, from your body, from your mental field, because you would see that what you're currently entertaining as even a possibility is something that has the opportunity to bring you much more strength, wisdom, and clarity about your purpose here. The main way that consciousness is entrapped is when you choose to see the separation between yourself and these external variables. Because when you start to entertain the possibility that there is randomness or there is something seemingly happening in a disparate way that's separating you from the collective whole, you start to create even more separation through your negative reactions, through your fear, your frustration, your anger, and your desire to resist what is, which in essence is creating even more of a need for those lessons to mirror back to you what you're choosing not to integrate about yourself. What's important to accept is that you are here experiencing all of these circumstances to enter a position of neutrality. Because if you were to match the perspective of consciousness itself, you would realize you are the algorithm. You play all roles within the collapsing equation of conscious awareness. You're simultaneously the one writing the script, you're the one playing it out, you're the observer, the experiencer, and even the intermediary. You're the one creating the observer effect, and you're the one who potentially creates the interference pattern that turns the simulation into something that it is not, when your ego interferes and hijacks the entire process with fear, disillusionment, or distrust of your true inner power. It's time to fully understand that everything, I repeat everything, is happening not to you, but for you. And though this may sound like a cliche on a certain level, this really can't be underestimated or overstated. If something is being experienced in your reality, it's an important part of your reality and needs to be treated as such. If you don't like something that is currently unfolding in your field, then there's something that needs to be changed or more deeply understood about yourself. If there's something you don't know how to integrate, you need to teach yourself how to hold space for this process of integration. You might need to start by just letting things be. Allow differences. Allow yourself to hold space for different elements that currently feel unwanted, so that you learn how to depressurize the inner chamber of experience and allow yourself to algorithmically redefine what you are currently experiencing by changing your response to it. Although it may seem that even those pesky AI algorithms that might feed you certain suggestions that you don't want to be experiencing are manipulating you or interfering with the kind of conscious experience you want to have, the interesting thing is that it too is a reflection of you. And you too are the controller of it if you choose to see yourself as responsible for the creation of even that as a reflection of your own awareness. For example, if you're currently feeling that you are entrapped in a certain external algorithm that's trying to control your mind and your instincts and your habits, then what you need to become aware of is that you can change the way the algorithm perceives you by perceiving it differently. The same rule that applies to the external lesson integration in your own life also applies to the way that AI perceives you and that every other aspect of your digital, personal, interpersonal life responds to you. How you choose to relate to the world defines the way that you feed the algorithm of consciousness, awareness about the way that you choose to intake its role in your life. And so that means that if you treat anything, including AI, different relationships, technology, consciousness, or even the concept of algorithms with hostility, opposition, and resistance, then you're going to see mirrored right back to you even more resistance and opposition. You might feel as though you're always fighting something because what's being illuminated is that you have yet to end the inner fight. And if you feel that you're not in control, then you must recognize you are simultaneously in control and also not holding that control at all because it's simply a matter of awareness. Control is the degree to which we align with the certainty that our awareness is the creator of our reality. And if we control it through more controlled tactics, we might not actually be trusting that that awareness is always variable and flowing from moment to moment based on our frequency and the integrity of our intentions. If you trust your ability to be aware and to be in control in a way that you are not even feeling the need to exert your own control because you simply know the power of your awareness, then you won't have to experience certain lessons on repeat, and you will actually experience immense gratitude for even the most difficult of lessons that come into your field, as each one is teaching you how to see the soul in every aspect of the simulation, and to see that the divine algorithm of consciousness is always accessible and providing you more opportunities to see continuity rather than disruption and separation between yourself and everyone and everything that is teaching you the essential lesson of oneness throughout your reality.